All right. So, now a lot of you aren't familiar with the biz like Lindsey and I are. And what I'm about to show you is what we in the biz, like to call a one-pager. It's just a simple, piece of paper to get the conversation going with, let me see here. Will this pull up the right one? There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to have to zoom in on this just a bit because I can't really see it very well. So this is the term sheet, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands exactly, what we offered Lindsey before she came on. And it's just to get the initial discussion started. And we tried to, we redlined some stuff, and this was kind of the final thing. So you'll see, in totally legit legal terminology, this is a totally 100% binding term sheet. Some people don't think a term sheet is binding, but that's okay. Here at Solomon's Corner, we like to merge them together as well. So we don't have a lot of editors yet, but we're getting them. Should be confidential, but no, kind of self-explanatory. What does that mean, right? It means that I probably shouldn't even be doing this right now, but I felt like it would be pretty funny to do it. So we're just going to go line by line. This contract is totally made up and is completely and totally useless to all parties involved and was only generated in order to present our audience with complete and total transparency of what they already suspect. Yeah, so, I mean, I know they said that they only sent one term sheet to Lauer with Crowder, but they might have sent a second one. It probably looked a little bit like this, but maybe a little different, There's some definite, differences. Disclaimer. At any point during the reading of this term sheet, the beloved, a.k.a. Lindsey, reserves the right to buffet her husband, a.k.a. Danimal, in a gesture of feminine beauty and dignity in order to retain her honor. Now, that will make sense in a minute as we go through this. Lindsey doesn't know what's in this terms sheet. So, here we go. Number one, term. Now, some of you probably have seen this before because of viral videos last week. This is pretty darn close to the way other companies do it. The big players, people who throw around basketball money. Now that doesn't happen here. We have to barter and trade with our employees, and that's exactly what this right here is saying. So an initial dating period of 3 months, at which point the woman in question will be betrothed to Daniel Roberts for life. Pretty simple, self-explanatory, non-negotiable term here. Not a lot of red ink that got thrown on that one. The fee. Now, this is where people might get a little bit concerned. But Lindsey agreed to this. So the initial offer of approximately $3,500 in the form of an engagement ring. Yes, that's what I did. That was pretty damn good. And she ended up paying it off herself after we got married because she found out I put a loan on it. So together, we stood strong. In exchange, she will offer copious amounts of the marital act and will occur throughout the beloved's lifetime. Now, some of you might be asking yourself, what's the marital act? And if you're a child, you're definitely wondering, what's the marital act? Is that the exchange of vows? Well, it's the exchange of several vows. There's a lot of ways you could skin that cat. And I'm going to leave it to the adults in the room to explain it. Production costs. Now, this was a nail biter, okay? I wasn't sure if she was going to commit all the way through, but Lindsey likes to bear her own costs of production. So, made sense right off the bat to get into the bearing of children. In exchange for my salary, that'd be mine. The wife, aka Lindsey, will bear me as many children as her body can produce. Whether that is 3 or 300 or 3 or 100, who knows? But she is legally bound to spawn an army if her body is willing and able to do so. Now, I know that this is not necessarily what a lot of women would agree to these days, but we're pretty traditional. Take a lot of inspiration from Matt Walsh. Shout out to my boy. I don't really know him. He doesn't know me. He probably wouldn't like me that much, but I really felt like I was channeling him right here. Cooking meals. Now, this was, again, taboos in society. This might get us kicked off of YouTube before we even get to our 1,000 subscribers. But we just wanted to be transparent with you guys. Is somebody actually messaging me right now? Oh, okay, no. All right. Lindsey is required to cook any and all meals upon request and answer to the term wench if the beverage of choice is beer. Now, men, make sure you get this one in there, okay? If your woman is not willing to answer to wench, she's probably not willing to be married to you, okay? Not at least not till death do you part, okay? Otherwise, the moniker woman will suffice to call in her services at any and all meals with family, friends, guests, and especially dignitaries and ambassadors from other countries. Now, that last bit, we went back and forth a couple times, but it was really vital because we have a lot of dignitaries that come to our house. They have different cultural preferences, and a man has to show himself as the authority. Otherwise, he appears weak. So, once Lindsey understood, and I mansplained it to her, she took all the red ink out of this section. Which brings us to the next little bit here. Oh my word. And again, this is just a one pager, guys. And it's just business lingo. You little peons, you probably don't know what it's like to have this. And again, Lindsey is seeing this for the first time, so that's the best form of communication, by the way, in a marriage. Men make all the decisions, and women just comply. Right? No, do not comply shirts in this house. Okay. Once a week, that's Lindsey, will cook a meal naked, and if unable to do so, will incur a fine to her production cost of 25% for every week that it's missed.
Now, thankfully, I think my legal team, I think we addressed the word naked here is all
yes.
in reference to the chicken.
Yes.
Naked chicken, right?
Yes, but my legal team came back and told your legal team to get lost. And they said, okay. And all they had to do was put my man card out there, and they said, hey, we're good. When pregnant. Now, this is a special disclaimer. There's a lot of stereotypes that women are expected to fulfill in the marriage, and this is one of them. If pregnant, meals are still required, but she may do so barefoot in order to fulfill the stereotype of barefoot and pregnant. No wine will be permitted for the 9-month period of gestation. Okay? Real big pro-life movement right there. All right? Finally, we're getting right towards the end here. Boost confidence of husband via public decrees. Now, this one was it was pretty innovative, okay? In the words of Jeremy Bourne, I tried to take a little bit of inspiration, get innovative with my term sheet. And so it's pretty novel concept here. I think you'll all see what I was going for right here. When in public, she will promote at any available opportunity Solomon's Corner merchandise and or podcast episodes with the introductory phrase, "My husband is a superhero without a cape. His podcast is the best on the internet." At which point she may proceed to explain to the hearer which particular episode they should listen to first. Now, I should have added first, but these contracts can get a little daunting when you're, trying to run the content of the show as well. Now, here's the only clause that I felt like I had to, put a little skin in the game. Shout out to my boy Talib. Thanks for blocking me. Really appreciate it. Only took one try. But in honor of that concept, here's my skin in the game. Failure of Daniel to provide an income will result in Lindsey exercising her frugality superpowers in order to provide for the family, condemn Daniel for his actions, and ensure that he never decides to do a podcast again. He will also have to live in a literal doghouse for up to 9 months for each child produced due to marital actions. So there you have it, guys. Again, I know that it's kind of like a Pandora's box here in these startup YouTube channels, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys had, full transparency of what's going on here with Lindsey. She is in a happy marriage. I know it seemed daunting at first, but then she signed this right on the dotted line. And I have it somewhere. She didn't know how to use cursive, so she wrote it in block letters. But it still worked out. So anyway, I don't think anybody's on here, so there's no reactions to that, but I'm sure we'll get a little bit of a reaction from our friends later this week. Okay, so what'd you say?
I was just gonna say, I'm sure that by church tomorrow morning we'll be
yeah.
be hearing from people.
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to that. So, thanks for indulging that little gag there. Hashtag.
What is a wife?
What is a wife? Yeah. What is a wife?